Investigations into leaked police documents intensifies as witnesses are interviewed. The NGO coalition proposed protocols to improve how reports of sexual assault are handled, and 14,000 in grant funding for young business owners affected by Tropical Storm Erica. I'm Untitled Baptist with the Channel 5 News. Details after this. You're watching Channel 5 News. We begin with the NGO coalition, which continues to follow up with the police on investigations of leaked witness statements, re-allegations of inappropriate behavior on a high school girl. Police Superintendent Kofi Williams was assigned to investigate the leaking of witness statements last month to do with reports of inappropriate behavior by 3 high-profile men against a 15-year-old girl. When Channel 5 News contacted Superintendent Williams on Thursday, he said the investigation into the leaked documents is still active. He says he was speaking with witnesses in the matter. Williams described it as a wide-ranging investigation. Chairman of the NGO coalition, Philip Carlisle, says the organization and the police are in contact on that matter.
The NGO coalition is on top of it in the sense that we are receiving updates. We are kept abreast of what's going on in terms of the investigation. So we are having updates. If updates are not coming, it is obvious, without any doubt, we will pursue because we want to know what's going on. We have minors who depend on us. We are their voices. We advocate on their behalf.
Carlisle believes the public has, to some extent, complicated the matter since they've been so vocal about that case.
We want to ensure that our general public knows that anybody, irrespective of creed, color, race, gender, anybody is innocent until proven guilty. We cannot continue to try those cases in the public because it's really not helping the victims.
Government Minister Reginald Austri also commented on the leaking of the documents last month on Kyrie FM, saying, I quote, "Everybody who touched or had anything to do with the leak of that document should be held responsible." On the health scene, obesity among young children and adults and the link to diabetes formed part of the discussion this World Health Day observed on Thursday. Representatives of the Ministry of Health visited the Roseau Primary School, where a series of activities were held to educate children on healthy foods and healthy lifestyles. The international theme for World Health Day is Beat Diabetes. The theme adopted by Dominica is Stay Super, Beat Diabetes with Healthy and Fit Children. President of the Dominica Diabetes Association delivered the health minister's address to pupils of the school on Thursday.
A school nutrition policy is also in an advanced stage of preparation and will guide the development of the school environment that enhances learning and the development of healthy, lifelong eating and activity behaviors. However, strengthening the regulatory framework must be accompanied by willingness on the part of individuals, families, parents, school teachers, the non-governmental organizations, and the private sector to be supportive of the measures, to embrace the health information provided, and to make the healthy choice the everyday choice.
Clinic data indicates the prevalence of overweight and obese children, 0 to 59 months, increased from 9% in 2000 to 12% in 2009, and an estimated 24.8% of adolescents 13 to 15 years were overweight and 9.1% obese.
Government has begun to look at regulations and just recently endorsed a food and nutrition policy that will enhance the choices people make. The sugar tax was introduced in the 2015 budget and implemented. And at the moment, the Ministry of Health has completed its NCD, non-communicable disease policy, which will give direction to the prevention and management of selected NCDs through an integrated approach.
At the Roseau Primary School, the focus was on healthy eating and physical activity through the use of exhibitions and presentations. The children were also introduced to 2 new recipes, those of fruit kebabs and lentil akra. The World Health Organization predicts that by the year 2030, diabetes will be the 7th leading cause of death. In other news, the NGO Coalition for Protection of Children has come up with protocols for its member organizations to strengthen how reports of sexual assault are addressed. In order for this to work, over 20 non-governmental organizations must follow an ethical behavior policy and a mandatory reporting protocol. This follows a recent NGO workshop organized by the coalition at the Prevost Cinemall. Another workshop to further develop the policies is scheduled for May.
When we sign up, all the employees and volunteers and anybody associated with any of the organisations in the coalition will have to agree not to violate children. And they will understand that if they are violating children, there will be consequences to that. So when any organisation joins the coalition, they're signing up to those 2 things. Okay, that they'll have an ethical behaviour plan, policy for their organisation, and they'll have a mandatory reporting policy for their organisation. So that way the public can know that if they speak to anybody in any of our organisations, we will do something. And we hope that there'll be mandatory reporting for the whole country, but the government have to take their time and put that in place. So we're not going to wait for them, we're putting it in place in our organisations.
The NGO Coalition is adopting Child Fund International's ethical behavior policy and procedures to make this possible. The officer in charge of Child Fund, Dominica, Jana Fontin, is vice chair of the NGO Coalition.
We found out that the NGOs, they have informal systems. It's not on paper. And so when the staff comes on board, there is nothing for them to sign to hold them accountable to it. But in Child Fund, there is. And in fact, we vet people before we hire them. We look at the background checks, all these different things, and we do terrorist vetting as well. So we were sharing these experiences with them, and they're feeling like they would want something like that, something generic that can be applicable to their organizations. They don't have to, because they're not under government, they don't have to wait for a government law or policy to do that.
And on the business scene, $14,000 in grant money has been dispersed to young people whose small businesses suffered damage from Tropical Storm Erica. The Dominica Youth Business Trust outlined some of its initiatives at a press briefing on Thursday.
The passage of Tropical Storm Erica on the 27th of August 2015 hit Dominica, affecting Dominica as a whole. Many individuals and businesses were impacted. That also speaks for DYBT. Following the storm, DYBT initiated contact with entrepreneurs to be apprised of the personal well-being and their businesses. As a result, 7 of DYBT entrepreneurs will receive grants to assist their business recuperate from the effects of Erica. These grants are made possible from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, which funding that we had came to an end late 2015, but we were still able to secure some to assist our young persons affected by Tropical Storm Erica.
The DYBT donated funds to Grayson John of Dailies, who is involved in pepper sauce manufacturing, Dion Francis of Corona, seedling and vegetable production, Jackson Ailey of Petit Soufriere, who works in entertainment, Sherma Gregoire, soap production, Bernice Muller of Petit Soufriere, working in fishing, Derrickson and Chris Roy Fontaine of Bagatelle, who own a piggery, and Farai Winston of Colibistry, involved in livestock rearing.
Erica, what happened is with the constant rainfall, my crops got washed away. My nursery was damaged, and so I was unable to continue with what I had. I had to dump everything which I had, and my sales in terms of my clients, it was poor because the farmers who I usually sold to, they themselves had issues with their topsoil. So I had to basically start from scratch again.
As you know, Bagatelle was one of the most affected areas from Erica. And a landslide actually came down and hit our pig pen. So it went into our doors and some blocks and other materials. And as we speak, as it rains, landslide continues coming down at the front of our pig pen. So what we really need is a retaining wall to control the water, which is coming down by our pig pen, and etc.
Partial scholarships were also awarded to 2 individuals to pursue the agribusiness entrepreneurship program at the Dominica State College.
This agribusiness is not the teaching of agronomy, but it is to add value to young people who are in business or who want to be in business. So it's designed and called the Agribusiness Entrepreneurship Program. It's a different mode of teaching. It is what we call the competency-based education and training program. The students on this program, they have to actually learn by doing and not under the pressure of an exam. That's a totally different, that's what we call a CBET approach. We are teaching them so that they can implement these aspects into their business. So we hope that after then, they themselves would be able to employ other youth in their business.
A 0% tax on recyclable material is being seen as an incentive in helping reduce the level of plastic pollution in the country. The Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce is in talks with the government of Dominica to help eliminate the import tax on recyclable goods. The DAIC launched No Plastic Day on Thursday.
The Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce made an appeal in a national budget asking for a reduction on the import duty percentage with reference to recyclable materials, and that was granted to a certain degree. It would be great if it was completely zero rated because it would help to promote this initiative a lot better. We're still working on that in terms of the private sector pushing to have a percentage reduction, complete zero rate on the import duties.
It's as though it costs more to bring in recyclable goods, it will reap benefits for future generations.
It's not just about what's happening now, it's what's going to happen for our children, and I would like to know that in 15 years they have a clean environment similar to what we have been able to enjoy and experience. It does add a cost, an overhead cost, and you don't want to defer that to the customer. So yes, it is an additional cost when businesses have to bring in bags. Therefore, the options have to be looked at. Is it something that we're going to have to offer at cost initially to ensure that we don't defer the cost to the customer long term? Or is it something that with a zero rating, we might be able to maintain it at a zero cost to the customer?
The manager of the Fokole Landfill says the ultimate goal is to see Dominica with a more clean, plastic-free environment.
The ultimate objective is a cleaner environment and for the landfill to last us just a little more, because the plastic bags are evident on our landfill, and every type of material matters. Every plastic bag adds up to the size of the landfill that is being used. So our goal, our main objective is to cut down on costs, maintenance costs at the landfill at Dominica Solid Waste, and to have a cleaner environment. In the environmental work, in environmental management, in pollution prevention, it comes at a great cost initially, but in the long run, you know, it's cheaper. So initially there will be a great cost. Just anything that you're going to protect the environment, protect public health with, there's going to be a great cost, but it will save you money in the end. And what we're concerned about is our future generations.
A few supermarkets in the Roseau area will participate in a pilot project dubbed No Plastic Day on Saturday. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Dominica's continued efforts to facilitate trade by improving customs operations. Stay with us. Welcome back. A national strategy and action plan expected to be developed coming out of a two-day workshop on facilitating trade and improving customs procedures. International agencies are meeting with the private and public sectors to garner ideas for improving those procedures in the country. This is in keeping with implementation of the WTO agreement on trade facilitation in the OECS Economic Union. an agreement which essentially outlines trade-related measures to improve customs procedures. The Ministry of Trade is hosting the workshop along with the OECS Commission, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and the International Trade Center.
Dominica has gone through the process of identifying those measures which can be implemented on entry into force of the agreement and has submitted a Category A notification to the WTO. This was done last year. So Dominica is doing pretty well if you look at the number of measures which it says it can implement.
Chapnick says the workshop will focus on the measures Dominica has not yet implemented, and that's only a handful.
What we would like to talk about is what are the next steps and how can we implement those proposals. The aim is to develop bankable project proposals and to seek donor assistance. This is something which will be done locally by the government of Dominica with technical support from the ITC, UNCTAD and others. We want to get a sense of what are the obstacles standing in the way of you implementing these measures? What are the gaps? And where do you need assistance from outside donors in order to be able to implement? So we want to have very specific and technical discussions about each of these measures so that we can develop proposals.
The ASICUDA computerized customs management system is one of the measures which has led to customs reform locally, something the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is impressed with.
I think things are very well underway in this region and in Dominica from the needs assessment that we made together with you in 2013. From other studies, we see that there is very good development underway. And I'm quite pleased to say that this partly is also thanks to the contribution of UNCTAD with the development of the ASICUDA system here, where we are now at a level of the so-called ASICUDA World Program, and it has been implemented here in a, I think, very coherent manner. And it also reflects on the efficiency and the work that is being undertaken by customs authorities.
Its more physically challenged people have benefited from the Keep Walking Association of France. The association manufactures and repairs prosthetics to help amputees move around more easily. 8 legs have been made for members of the Dominica Association of Disabled People.
This is our second time in Dominica for our project to build legs for Dominican people with amputation. So the first time was the first experience, but short experience, because we have as project to make 4 legs, but at the final we made 5 legs, and we maintain 2 other legs from US for 2 other people. But so the first time was a success, so it was good to keep on going this way.
Albert Clark, Luc Fabian, Andy Fontaine, Jose Lamar, Magdalene Laville, Akim Lugi, Irma Raymond Joseph, and Morel Xavier were recipients of the prosthetics.
For many of us, it has been many years that we have been using our crutches, our walkers. And I personally, I can say thank God. This year will give me 21 years since I had my amputation. It only happened because when each and every one of us look at the cost of receiving a prosthetic leg, it is more than an arm and a leg for us. So with the aid of the Almighty and Keep Walking Association, DAPD, and all the other partners, we say thank you.
A first presentation of prosthesis was made to the DAPD in December 2015. That's news. Coming up, Wednesday's version of the Win-Lot Games. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
Hello everyone, and here are your sports highlights. First up in sports, Dominica went down to defending champion St. Lucia by 6 wickets in Wednesday's version of the Win-Lot Games. The home team batted first and scored 65 all out in 32.2 overs Micah Xavier scored 21 not out and Von Elize 10. Jaden Ellibox took 4 for 13. St. Lucia in reply posted 67 for 4 in 16.3 overs. Gavin Serrier top scored with 30 not out. Micah Xavier, Jed Thomas, Michael Riviere, and Ethan Ducktrove each picked up 1 for Dominica. Meanwhile, the game between St. Vincent and Grenada was washed out by rain at the Benjamin's Park. On to football now. The Dominica Football Association's disciplinary committee has taken action against 2 national players from the Division 1 League. The move was taken for the players' behavior during the match in February.
2 players from the newly crowned DFA Division 1 League champions Petro-Caribe Point Michel have been banned with immediate effect by the disciplinary committee of the Dominica Football Association for their behavior in the playoff match between Petro-Caribe Point Michel and Itasi United played at the Pori playing field on February 25, 2016. Peter Tousse has been banned from playing football under the auspices of the Dominica Football Association until the end of the 2016-2017 season, while Danny Williams has been banned from playing football under the auspices of the Dominica Football Association in the first 4 matches for the team he is registered for in the 2016-2017 season.
Meantime, waterlogged conditions at the Benjamin's Park and a lack of field preparations at Poria Playing Field forced the abandonment of play in the All-Island Leagues on Wednesday. And the final match is carded for Friday. Here again is Gerald George.
Digicel Newton Juvenile Academy Harlem United will take on Daddy Chess Barford Ambassadors at 5 p.m. in the first match of a doubleheader at the Newton Playing Field, while at 7 p.m. it will be Marusoka Strikers versus ACS Tarish United.
On to schools basketball. Portsmouth Secondary defeated the Isaiah Thomas Secondary on home ground 66-36 in the sports division organized under-20 championships on Wednesday. Scoring for PSS, Delvin Thomas, 28 points, 21 rebounds and 3 blocks, and Fewani Foy, 12 points, 16 rebounds, 5 steals and 3 assists. For ITSS, Shaylan Vidal had 14 points, 5 rebounds and 7 steals. Meantime, the girls' game between Pierre Charles Secondary and Northeast Comprehensive was washed out by rain. The boys' semi-finals are carded for Friday between PSS and Dominica State College in Portsmouth, while over at the Dominica Grammar School Hardcourt, Northeast Comprehensive and St. Mary's Academy will go head-to-head. SMA and PSS won Zone A and B, respectively. In netball, Dominica secured yet another victory in the Jean-Pierre League, defeating Trinidad and Tobago by 31 points on Thursday. The scores were 6-3, 16-5, 26-27 and 40-9 by the end of the first, second, third, and fourth quarters. Selena Langley scored 32 from 34 attempts and Kayla Telemack 8 from 11. Still in netball, it was a closely contended match as the New India Assurance Celtic edged out Jazz by 5 points in the Big Edge Financial Express League on Wednesday. With a game total of 34 points, Marcia Gustav shot and scored 24, Elizabeth Joseph assisted with 6, and Keisha Thomas got 4. The Jazz players put on a good fight but failed to beat the defending champs, ending on 29 points. Magdalene Fergus got 15 and Verna Graham 14. Finally in sports, on Thursday, the sports division kicked off its 6th annual primary school mini volleyball festival at Botanic Gardens. In the boys category, the Siniku and W.S. Stevens primary schools went head-to-head in the final, where Siniku won 2-1. The scores 8-15, 15-9, and 10-5. There were 21 male teams participating. Meantime, in the girls' finals, the Wesley and W.S. Stevens schools contended for the win. W.S. Stevens dominated the game 2-1. The game scores were 15-12, 6-15, and 10-8. 10 girls' teams participated in the female competition. Last year, the Salibia Primary School won the Division 1 and Sinico Primary the Division 2 of the boys segment. Wesley Primary won the Division 1 and Grand Fork Primary School won the Division 2 of the girls segment. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
The weather report is next.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery. What it showed, some low-level clouds which moved across the region today, and this resulted in cloudy skies mainly during the morning period, with a reduction in cloudiness by late afternoon. Now, tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy, with a few brief scattered showers, and similar conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Sea conditions are expected to be slight to moderate in open water, with waves peaking near 5 feet. Conditions for the next 3 days: fair to partly cloudy skies, with few isolated showers can be expected tomorrow. However, by Saturday, an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected mainly during the morning period, with fair to partly cloudy skies, with some brief scattered showers expected by afternoon. However, as we move into Sunday, an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected. The rest of the Caribbean, fair to partly cloudy skies, with some brief scattered showers can be expected across the entire chain tomorrow, as a ridge of high pressure continues to dominate conditions there. Our international cities forecast: cloudy skies expected in New York, clear skies expected in Miami and Beijing, partly cloudy skies expected in Caracas, and some rain expected in London. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:55 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:19 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. Investigations into leaked police documents intensifies as witnesses are interviewed. The NGO coalition proposed protocols to improve how reports of sexual assault are handled, and 14,000 in grant funding for young business owners affected by Tropical Storm Erica. Feel free to contact us at news@marvlyn2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Idona John Baptist. To all our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow.